Hi, it's Dwyer. Election Day, November the 3rd, 2020. GamblersAdvisory.com, a free site. BettingAngle.us, a free site. Let's talk boxing, but first remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let me just say a couple of things. First, Nathan Gorman on Twitter said that he wanted to see Dillian Whyte against Michael Hunter. I'm someone who still believes that Dillian Whyte got brutally knocked out, is not going to be himself anytime soon, and wouldn't be able to handle the movement of Michael Hunter. That's a fight I would take Michael Hunter in if that fight happens. If you haven't heard, Povetkin has contracted COVID, right? So you have some uncertainty short term about Dillian Whyte's next fight. Understand too, Leo Santa Cruz just got brutally knocked out by Gervonta Davis. Contrast the way Santa Cruz is handling that KO with the way Dillian Whyte's handling his KO. Santa Cruz is telling you, I'm not sure what I'm going to do for weeks. I need to talk with family members. I need to figure out if I even want to continue my career. By contrast, Dillian Whyte wants you to believe that he's going to be fine against the very guy who knocked him out in the first half of their fight. Come on now. Well, let me just say this too to Deontay Wilder, and I'm not even going to get into the truth or whatever of Wilder's statements, right? As crazy as they are. But what I want Wilder to understand is that he's a big payday for the people around him. This is the burden of being wealthy, right? People are looking for a reason to sue you. You could solve a lot of their problems if you do something stupid enough where they could sue you and collect a judgment. Well, Wilder's being very stupid right now. Look, we all need to understand that Mark Breland was an Olympic gold medalist. He was an elite amateur boxer. As a professional boxer, he won the welterweight title. Right? This is a guy who's known with Deontay Wilder or without Deontay Wilder. So now Wilder is being the life of the party, saying outrageous things, attracting attention. One of the outrageous things he's saying is that Mark Breland may have spiked his water. Hey, player, maybe the people around you haven't told you that's straight up defamatory. Right? I used to be a full-time litigator. Now I do a lot of family law. If someone came in my office and talked about a lawsuit and said that some multi-millionaire, high-profile person has defamed them, and then I'm looking online and I see that there are multiple media sources confirming the defamation, that'd be an easy lawsuit for me. Let's talk about another ridiculous statement Deontay Wilder said. Right? The idea that unbeaten, lineal, heavyweight champion. And to me, I'm going to say lineal even though I know he has a WBC belt, because for me, the lineal is worth more. Tyson Fury, who has lawyers around him. Folks, Bob Arum's a lawyer. Has anyone figured that out? You mean to tell me Deontay Wilder is silly enough to talk about loaded gloves? Understand, you can't make that statement until you have proof. Right now, years ago, Miguel Cotto accused his opponent, Antonio Margarito, of having loaded gloves. And I'll tell you what, fight night, we really don't know for sure. But I suspect he might have been telling the truth. Just understand, you need facts. You need hardcore evidence to give yourself a chance at a defense in a defamation suit. Now, I don't care what you were hit with in the ring. Deontay, if you don't have hardcore evidence that Tyson Fury was loading up his gloves in a sport where they check the gloves before you enter the ring. I'm not saying that protocol has always been followed. But if it was followed here, and if you don't have more than a suspicion, you need to stop talking about it. All you're doing is hurting yourself. The people around you, they're not the ones who are going to get sued for defamation. Even if they're sued, they're going to say, look, man, I didn't know anything about the statement this guy was going to make. I didn't ratify it. I didn't condone it. I didn't authorize it. I didn't consent to it. Right? So, let me just say, being the life of the party, getting a lot of attention, campaigning for a fight against Tyson Fury after the deadline to get that fight has expired in the contract, according to reports. Right? Okay, sure, that's going to get you a lot of media attention. You don't want it to get you a lot of litigation liability. So to Deontay Wilder, if you spent a lot of effort becoming heavyweight champ, and if you had to earn that money, training camps, sparring, beating world-class fighters, if you value what you've accomplished financially, you need to stop coming up with outrageous statements that you don't have proof for. Right? Understand too, the allegations are so outrageous that if people took them seriously, they could lead to criminal liability for the people he's accusing. You mean to tell me before a commission-sanctioned fight, we're to believe that a trainer is slipping drugs into the, fluid, the water bottle of Deontay Wilder? Folks, look up what happened to Panama Lewis. Right? Panama Lewis supposedly took out, in fact, according to reports he did, take out the stuffing out of Luis Resto's gloves. Restos then went out and beat up Billy Collins. I believe Panama Lewis got criminally convicted for that. Understand, Wilder's throwing around criminal accusations at Tyson Fury, at Mark Breland. Right? If these guys have the means to sue you, even if they didn't have the means, there's a whole contingency fee part of the bar where they'll read a sports page and say, man, this is outrageous. Then they'll contact the defamed person and say, hey, player, I'll take this contingency fee. Not only that, think about the wonders it'll do for an attorney's practice to have him force you, a former heavyweight champion, to settle. So cut it off. Cut it out. This is a no-go. Right? Whatever minor celebrity you're getting by making salacious accusations isn't worth the litigation risk you're facing. Let me also say, too, just realistically, the delay in responding to Tyson Fury to set up that third fight has lost Wilder a lot of leverage. A lot of folks have moved on. They're thinking, okay, well, now let's see that Joshua Fury fight. Right? Let's see how he does against Anthony Joshua. We're ready for that fight now. Right? I know COVID evaporated the live gate for what would have been the third Wilder fight. But Deontay, you got beaten so badly in the rematch, right, that it seems to me like you've lost your turn. No matter how outrageous the interviews are right now, they're not enough to create an outcry for a third fight ahead of Fury Joshua, which is what I think comes next. Anyway, that's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I hope you leave your comments in the comment section of this video. Let me also say too, Dylan White might have been saved here. Understand, COVID is a virus that depletes people. Right, so here you have Alexander Povetkin. I know he's going to say, hey, I'm ready to fight tomorrow. I'm just following a protocol and stuff like that. But COVID's the kind of thing that's going to hurt a fighter's preparation. Right? He can't spar. The sparring partner doesn't want to catch COVID. Right? He has to take care of himself. COVID's the kind of thing that messes up your sleep pattern, messes up your family life. I'm guessing Povetkin's wife's like, hey, player, you're in the bedroom alone. Right? So think about it. He wins two ways, Dillian Whyte. His opponent is temporarily weakened. His preparation for the fight is thrown off. Meanwhile, Dillian Whyte is saved from himself. Now he has more time to get healthy. Right? It would have been laughable if Santa Cruz said, you know what? I want a rematch with Gervonta Davis in a couple of months. That would have been laughable. Right? Gamblers would have been lining up in the casino saying, hey, I'm taking Davis by stoppage in the rematch. Well, how's that situation different from the Dillian Whyte-Povetkin situation? So now, because COVID has KO'd Povetkin, now Dillian Whyte has extra time. I'm telling you, his body's thanking him. Right? Just being away from getting KO'd, extra time, should help a fighter in his 30s, which is what Dillian Whyte is. He's not 21 years old. But even with the extra time, the next time he fights Povetkin, I'm taking Povetkin again in that match. That's how I see it. Let me hear from you. I look forward to your comments. Thanks for stopping by.